So Esther, Juliet, we could barely hear you. Okay, so somebody else, please. Somebody else. Anybody else wanted to give the trial? So go to the next day. Okay, so Adedamola. Okay, thank you, Juliet. Adedamola, your hand is raised.
So yesterday we talked about data analysis, the categories of data analysis, in which we have 4 categories of data analysis, which are descriptive, diagnosis, predictive analysis, and prescriptive analysis. Then we talked about Power Query, Goal Seek, and the likes.
Okay. All right. Oyindamola Ajewole. So yesterday, were you on the call yesterday, Oyindamola?
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice. You know that I know you very well, right? Yeah, tell us what you did yesterday.
Yesterday we talked briefly about data analysis, some essential stuff that we need to know. We talk about Go Seek, Power Query, function, data validation, formula, and all that. Then we move to the categories of data analysis, where we have descriptive. I talk about history, like looking into history, historical trend, and talking about them. We have the predictive, and this is forecasting of future trends. We have the descriptive that deals with how to get what we forecast, like the strategies to do on how to do and what to do. I talk about the fourth one. The fourth one is diagnostics. Yeah, nice.
Okay, so thank you for that, Oyin, right?
Yes, sir.
So Sadiq, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go on. So
yeah, you make us to understand what data analysis is all about, which is the first thing that we need. So we're able to understand what is data analysis, so that to analyze an information and for easy presentations. So we understand. You make us understand what we will be learning as regards the data analysis when it comes to Go Seek, data validation, what to meet in the class and all that. So there are many things we discussed, but all are jotted down. So I can't just, so for the time management of the class, I can just say, but that Go Seek, we talk more about that Go Seek. Most of us, we don't know the meaning of that Go Seek. So you explain more.
Oh, really?
And all that. So it was interesting.
Wow. What do you say?
I said it was interesting yesterday.
Oh, so that Go Seek, right?
So we want to get our hands dirty now.
Oh yeah, so that Go Seek. Okay, so don't worry, we are still going to do Go Seek very well, right? Because even though before this class commenced, yeah, so I was using Go Seek, you understand? Because because I am an investment analyst, I'm trying to look into some stuff. So then I put on the Go Seek, yes, to give me the answer I needed. Yes, so Go Seek is so important, right? However, when the times come, for Go Seek, so just relax and you shall understand what Go Seek is all about. Yeah. So relax your mind, my friend. Okay, so please, I want to ask if the lecture is recorded because I missed the class. So I can watch and be on same page with the class. Okay, Adejo, guitar, yeah. So definitely, The class is on. Do you understand? Yeah, so I mean it's being recorded, so just relax, So you get it. So like I said today, I'll just do a recap of yesterday and also conclude yesterday's class because yesterday, we did not conclude it owing to network and which took time and everything. So for today, right? Yes, I'm going to end the class today. Very soon. Yeah, so that everybody can go, you can go and rest. Right. So okay, so that's that. Anyway, so yesterday, we looked into what data entails. Yesterday, we looked into the categories of data or the techniques, deploy and to be a data person. Yeah. So yesterday, I talked about four main techniques, of data analyst, right? And yesterday, right, I told you that you as an analyst, the way you think, should be different from the way other people think. Yes, because people tend to look things, from the surface level, or from the perspective of being descriptive. Do you understand? So as a data analyst, you have to do things or think like the way people think. So you have to broaden your own level of thinking. You have to look into several perspectives, look into many scenarios. Okay, so this thing, so why is it like this, like that? However, most people just tend to stop in descriptive, right? So let me share my screen. Um, ooh, okay, so yeah, I said that. So yeah, so this. Oh, sorry. I finished share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen now, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. So yesterday, we talked about the categories of data analysis. Yeah. So we're talking about descriptive, talking about diagnostics, talking about predictive, and also prescriptive. Yes. So yesterday, so these steps involved in data analysis. So we are going to we are going into this today. Yes. So now for a quick recap, talking about descriptive what analysis. This one talks about the trend, right? So what has happened. So to say, or for context, just put it on historical, So for historical, okay, so this is what has happened, or what has evolved over the time. Take for instance now, if in the past, right, so you have been recording a low sales, right? So descriptives tend to look into your sales, revenue for the past days, for the past week, right? So you agree with me that everybody does this thing. This is what everybody do, trying to look into the past, or sometimes. So you can also look at it, from this perspective, right? How many of us here tend to sit down and look into your past, some of the mistakes you have made. I don't know if you do that, just sit down, reminisce on your past. Oh, you know, why that? So just think about your past, what have happened in the past. That is what we call descriptive analysis. To look into the past, what has happened, just look into the past, historical majorly, or just sit down, then you reflected, on what had happened in the past or how you spent your day, right? So I'm sure that most of you, you do that, very well. So that's what we call called descriptive analysis, whereby you look into the past, what has happened, in time past, look at the trend of everything, right? So now, two things will happen. By the time you look into the past, two things will happen. Now, it's either you are okay with it, yeah, or you are not okay with it. Now, some of you here, right? So we tend to look into your past, what has happened. Like I said, that two things will happen. It's either you are cool with it or you are not what cool with it. So now, talking about diagnostics, right? That is where you now think about, okay, now in the past, this happened. Then the question is, why did it happen? Look into all those scenarios. Okay, it happened because of XYZ, right? It happened because of, oh, what I did, which I should not do. That is what we call diagnostics. So then the next question now, so what do I want to do, to mitigate what had happened in the past so that I will not do that again. Do you understand? Take for instance now when I was in school, um whenever I had a C in a course, although I barely had C in a course. So I had C in a course. So the question I will ask myself is probably want to do so probably when I'm in second semester. Okay, so let's say for instance now I did Echo 301, right? So Echo 301 for instance is microeconomics. Do you understand? Yes, microeconomics. So why Echo 302 is macroeconomics? Do you understand? So and take for instance for Echo 301, let's say I had C for instance, although I never had C in any of my micro or macro. So just saying for example, so then I had what C for instance now, my 301, right? So what I do 302 second semester, I'll just sit down and reflect. Okay, so first semester I had C in 301. So why do I have not had that C? I will reflect on it. Yeah, look at the trend. So now, to now further diagnose it, and I say, okay, what are the factors that led to me to have C in that course? Right? So I've had to sit down, think, look into those factors. Okay, this is what happened. Oh, this and this and this happen. Then the next question is what is now the possible solution for me, to now scale this 302, which is now in my front. Do you understand? So I will not think about it. Okay, this is it. So then I will now move on to predictive analysis. So talking about predictive now, look at the word predict, future, isn't it? So then now, what am I going to have again, ahead of this course? Having put in place that these are the courses, that make me to have C in this course. So then what should I do better, to scale this second semester course? So that's when so I'm not trying to, okay, by everything I have said now, so I should be able to have A, in this course. So now talking about about prescriptive now talks about how do you now intend to achieve that A, right? So it now begins to work, some game plan towards it, some strategies, around it, right? So then once your game plan is well solid, well grounded, then you're going to go. I don't know if this happens to only me, whereby you sit down and look into what has happened in the past, probably your business or anything, right? And also you tend to and also you tend to diagnose the whole scene. And once I've done that, right? And also again, you tend to predict what will happen, and you look into the ways to mitigate them in the future. Once you have your plan well grounded, I don't know if I'm the only one that it happens to, but I will feel so comfortable. I will have this peace of mind that, okay, so come anytime, this my plan is going to work. I don't know if it happens to only me or if it will, also experience the same thing. So any question from anybody, are we good to go? Let me know. Do you have a question? Do you understand? So please talk to me. Please talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Okay.
Well understood. We are good to go.
Oh, okay. So sound good. So what about our new friend that has just joined us today? Do you guys understand? Our new friend that just joined us, Barakat. Hi. Hello, Baraka. Are you
Yes,
there?
sir. We get, sir.
So, do you have any question?
We are following.
Okay. So, anybody? Okay.
Oh, good morning. Good evening, sir.
Okay.
Good
Baraka, yeah.
evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, do you understand? Rukayat Razak. Amotola.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, Amotola Tolu. Sorry, Amotola Tolu.
Sir?
Yes, do you understand everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so one Victoria Tolulope, Shidat, Labake, you know. So,
That's good,
and
sir.
okay, nice. And Da Silva and Esther Morris. Are you there, Esther Morris?
I'm here, and I'm here.
Okay, great, bro.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Okay,
I'll
how
take
about it? What do you say? Titi Lope
Thank
and
you.
Titi
Okay,
Lope?
thank you very much, sir. At least with this one, I understand to some extent. But it seems
Okay,
like you were reading something that there is a record of yesterday class. I believe you will have started by explaining one or two terms before you go to the categories, sir. So
okay,
I will
okay,
appreciate if it can be dropped, sir. The class
okay,
of yesterday, how it all started, sir.
okay, nice.
Thank you very much,
Okay,
sir.
you're welcome. Dr. Sutola, once again, Esther Morris, Esther Timileyin, Faith Isayo Alamu, Gloria Basi, Fawale, Titilayo. So, Jack Umbre, okay, 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 Doctors, Mohamed Bello Usman, okay. So let's move on. So, that is just the scenario. Talk about historical, in a nutshell. Why the world diagnostics talk about how to mitigate them. So why did they happen? So why are we having continued um, surge or help in sales? Why are sales going down? Why? So what should we do? Do you understand? That is what we call diagnostic analysis. So why the word predictive means that going by and also for diagnostic, right, you also look into the solution, on your data. Okay, look into the solution on it. Yes, and also for predictive, right, going by your past data, and also based on your diagnosis. Okay, so then what should we be expecting in the future, right? So should we continue experiencing decrease in sales, or should we continue, or going forward, should we now see an improvement in our sales? Do you understand? So by the word prescriptive, talks about, okay, so then now, how do we now intend to achieve this goal? How do we So what should we do? How do we guide, or how do we edge against them? Okay, so that person should please help us to move a mic. Juliet Ebo, please help your boy to move your mic. Thank you, Juliet. All right. So that is that for that. So yeah, now we now have data analytics in 5 steps. Yes. So these are the steps, for you to be a guru, or for you to be a sound guy or lady in data analytics or analysis. You have to put in place, you have to have in mind these 5 steps. Now, the first step here is divine. Yeah, so from the word divine, so you have to divine what you want to do. So sit down, you define the objective that you intend to achieve, right? So you define it. So you have to sit down, and think about, okay, so now as a data person, so I want to work on this project, right? So sit down and count the cost of everything, right? So that will cost you how to implement everything. Take for instance, now me as a person, I am very, very detailed person. Yeah. In fact, I am so detailed. I am so analytical. So before I do things, I'll first sit down. In fact, before I put my money in any way, I'll first sit down as well, and look into it very well, define it, look, understand what I want to do, ensure that everything is on ground, so that by the time I start, so I won't have any issue. So as a data guy, you have to sit down and define your objective, define your audience. So who do you want to work for? So what do you want to achieve? What tools do you need, in the course of this project? So for this project or for this task, so how many times in a week, will I be working on them? How many days in a week, will I, just sit down and think about it. So look into every potholes, look into any mistakes, that might come in the future. Look into several factors, many scenarios, so and sit down and think about them very well, right? So before you move on to anything you want to do, right? Are we clear on that aspect? Are we clear on that aspect of 5 step, which of data analytics, which is divine number one? So are we clear on it, please?
Very clear, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Very clear,
Now,
sir.
okay, thank you. So number two is what now? It's not to measure, right? So when I say measure, now once we have think about the possible the possible ways, want to achieve your project and everything, once you have defined everything, right? So what now happen now is now measure. Now talking about measure is very, very important, right? When it comes to data. At least you have to understand how to keep your data. Yes, trust me. See, you won't your data without any backup. Trust me, you won't at all find it very funny. Yes. Now, let me show us now. You see, Amazon that you're looking at, Amazon, Google, Apple, right? They have a serious, like they have a strong level of measure. So that you can avoid a lot of things. Don't forget that you are working with people, and people are kind of very funny, right? So the shenanigan is so alarming. Take for instance now, you saw what happened between Peter Obi and David, Bishop Oyedepo, right? Yes, daddy. Now we all see the scenario, right? What happened? There was no proper measure. The information was the info leak, right? And that is not too good. So measure is very, very powerful to ensure that your data does not leak, one, and number two, to ensure that your data is very safe. Do you understand? Now, just imagine, you had a talk with somebody, and the following day, now you got to see it over the hair. Now, tell me, how will you feel? You will feel good, right? So that's what they call it, measure. So measure must be in place, you know. So when people saw that video, I mean that Peter Obi's stuff, yes, daddy, immediately, what do you see on Twitter or here and there? Anything, yes, daddy, anything, yes, daddy. And people tend to be like, I mean, that very day, when I saw yes, daddy, no, yes, daddy, I was like, today, what's going on today? Just seeing yes, daddy. And the first part was those that support Peter Tinubu fan on my status. They're just posting yes, daddy, yes, daddy. I was like, what's going on with him? Yes, daddy. Because me, I am not on Twitter. What's going on with him? Yes, daddy. So then I pay attention to it. And before I did it, this is what happened. And one guy who is a diehard of Tinubu was like, hey, Michael, this is what happened though. So, really? I was just laughing. But at the same time, no, that guy happens to be a diehard Tinubu fan. So everybody was laughing when I was sharing the whole story with us. So, by the same time, all of us now, that same guy was like, but Mikey, this thing is very bad. Though. How can you have a chat with somebody and your discussion just leak? I mean, that was no the guy. Forget electoral awareness now. The guy now came back to his presence and was like, this thing is very, very bad. And in fact, it is even an offense, in the law. That is very bad. So the thing is, you have to understand measure. Ensure that your data does not leak. Ensure the integrity of your data. Ensure that you keep your data, in many places, right? So yesterday now, for instance, right, I was working on one task, okay? So today I woke up today and everything. So let me just resume my work. And for me to access that data, I could not access it again. So I was like, oh God, why do I make this mistake? So going forward, then I learned from that. Okay, so next time, this is what I will do next time, to ensure that my data is safe, is protected. So please, after you have divided everything and data is now at your disposal, ensure that you have a good measure, before anything. Ensure that going forward, your data is always safe. Data can mean many things. Data might not be only numbers, can mean many things. Ensure that your data is always safe. Now, let me give you another example, for instance. Now, you are a CEO, right? You own a store or a mall, okay? Then you ask your CFO, right? Or you ask your data guy that, hey, can you please give me the data we talked about yesterday? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The data, I could not find it again. How would you feel? In fact, you can fire the guy or you can fire the lady. Why? Because of there is no proper way for keeping data, no measure. So do you understand? Before I move on, any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Let's talk. Let's talk. Yeah?
I understand, sir.
Okay. So next one we have analyze, So we have what? We have analyze. So we have what? We have analyze, for the third one. So now, once you have gotten what your data, you now have to structure your data in a proper order. Okay, let me show you a very simple scenario, right? Simple scenario. Um, okay. So look at this thing now, right? I feel that it is well presented, but look at this place here. Here, I put what? I put raw data here, right? You can see the raw data, it's not well structured. But what do? I have to ensure that the data is well analyzed, I have to ensure that data is well analyzed, right? So I have to put everything in order. So then afterward, break it down. So you can see it here, income statement, cover page, table of content, balance sheet. I have to do everything. However, this one as well is not as well in order anyway. So, but here, right, that raw data, I have to ensure that I break it down. I further analyze everything, because when you look here very well, we have statements of so we have P and L, so you can say everything. We have balance sheet, and we have We also have what here? Cash flow statement, everything same place. But what do I do? I have to analyze what everything. You can see here now. So here now it's not what my P and L. Here what my balance sheet, and here what my cash flow. Okay, so I have to what I have to analyze, the data. And the next one we have is now improve. Okay, now let's improve now shows further to now begins to do some stuff, some magic on that data. Look into the error that is there. Don't forget that that your data will not be correct, what 100%. Do you understand? So once you have done the analyze, so now you have to sit down and look into errors that can be there, everything, do them very well, make them neat and everything. So you can see this my example. This is my example here. So by the time I now ensure that okay, so everything is well organized in this place now. So you can see here, you can see balance, 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 balance. So everything I see here that other this imbalance, they are all was from this data here. Okay, because I have to ensure that I improve on those data and sit down very well and adjust them, everything, do some one or two mathematics, here and there, right? So I did everything. So these are still what they are still past data, So I ensure that everything, correct. So and also going forward, from that improve. By the time I now done with the improve, so I now do my forecasting for the next 5 years. You can see here again that I have balance, balance, balance. True, true, true. That is, once I'm done with my analyze, then I improve on them, right? So going forward, everything was now accurate, was now correct. Okay, that is how to improve on your data. So once you have gotten your data, you have to analyze them, ensure that your data is well structured. Then regarding improve, ensure that you look into all those errors. You understand? Look into all those errors. So what errors are there in? How do you manage those errors and everything? Okay, to ensure that your data is well clean. Yeah, so well clean and everything. So and lastly, we now have what we now have control. So control now means that your data, right? Nobody should have access to it except that the person you want to have access to your data. Again, nobody should have access to your data except from the person you want to have access to the data. Okay, take for instance now, this thing you are seeing here, right? So, for instance now, if this data I want to share it now, let's say I want to share this data with Bukumi, right? So Bukumi should be the only one to have access to the data. Okay, so the way all of us are now on this call right now. So now that's my data. I want to share it with Oladipo, Oladipo, So I will ensure that only the guy have access to the data, nobody else. So now very soon, right? So very soon now, the recording, will be shared across to everybody. Okay, so now what will happen is those we want, those that we want them to see and the recording. So we ensure that the recording gets across to them. And those we do not want them to see it, so it will not. So once again, if you are working on a data, right, ensure that that's your control, the person you want, to have access to the data, should do that, right? So ensure that the data does not go to the wrong hand. Ensure that that you do not share your data with the person you are not giving them authority to do that to. So ensure that your data is shared across, to the right authority. Yes, yes, to the right word, to the right authority. Okay, so that's that. Sadiq, you have a question, please?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, as regards the control, if you put a control on the data, and then you only give access to those that can have access to the data, whatever, just as you have explained. Is it possible to break into the data?
To do what?
Is it possible to, like, for example, you share the data with me now, and I don't have access, but I want to break into the data. I want to have access without asking you. Is it possible?
Oh, no, it's not possible. So, as a data guy, you have to ensure that permission is given, that you give the word permission. Do you understand? So you have to be very smart. Don't forget that we are in an era where people are very cunning, right? People are so cunning, In fact, people are just full of different shenanigans. Do you understand?
That is the area. I'm sorry, sir. That is the area I'm coming in because
okay.
there is a training I did on how to block into, how to how will I put it? How to unlock data, as in yeah. So that is the reason why I asked that question.
Okay, sound good. So the people are calling, like I said, people are just calling. So you have to understand that, hey, what should I do? Like I said, all those things should be from your divine. That is why I took a time, to explain divine. Do you understand? So all those stuff should be, from your divine perspective. Do you understand? But okay, sooner or later or going forward, my data will be shared. Okay, so what if I don't want Oindamola, to have access to my data, but Oindamola happens to be a tech savvy? So what do I do? Now, think ahead of those scenarios, right? So think ahead of them that, okay, come anytime, I have access to my data, except that she comes to me for permission. Then she can have access to both my data. See, let me tell you one thing, right? Data guy, come anytime, any day, or anywhere, their payment is very high because of they have to keep the integrity of what they are working with. Just like a CFO, of any company, CFO means Chief Financial Officer. They earn very high because CFO understand that business, understand the modus operandi of every business is, right? So because of that, because of the work with large amount of money, so because of that, so they tend to pay them very well. Because if anything happens today, right? See, the CFO should be the first person that company should arrest. Yes. So in fact, I was sharing with that people that the bank, the SBB bank, in America, Silicon Valley Bank, that collapsed, collapsed on the back of the CFO and the management. Yes, because these guys tend to invest a lot of money, in bond market where we have higher interest rate environment. And when it comes to bond or when it comes to the fixed income, right? So it works against interest rates. And those people saw that, we have inflation, in the global economy, right? So, but these people yet, they do not think otherwise that, okay, now we're having higher inflation rate, and why the Fed, the US Fed don't keep raising interest rate. And this CFO, the risk manager, and the CEO, they keep on putting their money in bonds. So eventually, the higher the interest rate, the higher your investment in bond is being affected. And now, the higher interest rate environment just affect that bank. And for context, Silicon Valley Bank, is the biggest bank. So it's one of the biggest bank in America. Okay, and not only that, that bank is bigger than all the entire banks in Nigeria combined. Like Access Bank, Vent Bank, First Bank, just bring them together. That bank is bigger than all the whole bank in Nigeria combined. And again, to shock you, right, that same bank, is bigger than all your GDP in Africa combined. But the CFO, the risk manager, the management could not think. And that's how they lost, a lot of money. So they could not edge against with anything. So one thing again is, as a guy in data, you have to think, about different scenarios that could happen to your data, if you want to share it, right? So it should not be slack. Do you understand? So that's just the whole scenario. People are very cunning. Yeah, people are very cunning. Otherwise, if you can slack, support, right? So, any question again? Do we now understand now? Any question? Any question? Any question?
No question.
Okay, okay. So now go to the last phase, right? So now the tools we use in data analysis, we use several tools. Do you understand? So several tools are being used, right? So some use Tableau, Python, Spotfire, SQL, Looker, ClickSense, Excel, Power BI. So we have many tools, that can be used. But let me now tell you something that they won't tell you in business school or in any class on data. So let me tell you. Now, looking at everything you are seeing here, Tableau, Python, Phosphor, SQL, Looker, ClickSense, Excel, Power BI. So there are many actually. So there are many. So these are just few that I can share with you guys, right? So there are many. Now, the question is, which one should you start with, right? So the answer to it is you can start with anyone. But before you start with anyone, now you have to do something called divine. Yeah, divine. So you have to divine. Now we are in Nigeria, right? Now the question is, how many people in Nigeria use SQL? Don't forget, SQL is very powerful. Don't forget, Tableau is very powerful. Now that's divine. But okay, let's take for instance now. I start with Python or anything. So what is the propensity of me getting so what is the propensity of me getting jobs, on time? Don't forget that your aim is to understand this thing, right, and get a good job. So now, what is now the propensity of me getting job on time if I understand this thing? So the question is, how many companies in Nigeria is using Tableau? How many companies in Nigeria is using SQL, right? So don't forget that anyone is fine, right? But I will encourage you as a brother, as a little guy, as a tutor, that if you want to start using any of those tools, you start with Excel. Why? Because Excel is fundamental for any company. Excel is germane. So there's no company that we get to in Nigeria that does not use Excel, regardless, right? So, and also, don't forget that this class as well, this training as well, you will also learn PowerPoint, right? Because PowerPoint is also crucial. So by the time we are in PowerPoint, you understand why PowerPoint is so important. Because by the time you do your stuff on Excel and everything, so then how do you now automate them, in PowerPoint? How do you make them known to be dynamic, in PowerPoint? So then how present them to the stakeholders, right? Because as well, by the time you do your data, look at your dashboard, right? Take it to PowerPoint, make it more appealing, make it more, more attractive, right? Make it more present story. So make it more good Okay. Okay, nice. So now this what will be our assignment, right? So based on the question that Isaac asked, that will be our assignment. Then I'll now shed more light, on it. You understand? So all of you should go home, yeah, and look into the difference, among SQL, yeah, Excel, Power BI, Python, look into the limitation. So you understand? So that is the assignment for every one of us. So to meet again next week, Saturday by 5 p.m. No, next week, yeah, 5 p.m. Yes, 5 p.m.
On
Okay,
Monday,
so
sir.
no.
I thought we'll be meeting on Monday.
Okay, so yes, so Monday, right?
Yes.
On Monday, we should meet on Monday, right?
Yeah.
However, I'm having a meeting on Monday, like having two meetings on Monday. You understand? Which are very, very important. So that's why I'm sorry about that. I apologize for that. Do we get?
No problem,
So
sir.
thank you, brother. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So till
So yeah. So once again, right? This training is sponsored by the Mike Consult. Yes. So the Mike Consult, they are more into training. Yeah. So currently they have two programs on that is about to start, which is Emerging Analyst Academy, that is meant for those who want to go into finance, those who want to navigate finance, probably to enter as an entry level. Yes, so Emerging Analyst Academy, got you covered. Yes, so want to enter as into any company as an analyst role, sorry, as an intern, trainee, so it's meant mainly for undergraduates, yes, or corpus. You understand? And also we have the Mike School of Finance. So the Mike School of Finance is meant majorly for those who want to enter into any company as one analyst, two senior analyst, and three as a mid executive role. Yes, as fixed income, right? But you have to understand how the environment works. So the Master of Finance, tend to learn about investment decision. So what if I give you 100K today? So that 100K, can you double it? Can you work on it, to yield money? Yes, can you do that? This is what people are talking in the world of finance, how to multiply the money and everything. So can you do that? So what if I give you, so what if I have 100K? So now tell me, what investment will I do? How do I intend to split my money, to different asset classes, and that will give me a return? So all those still, all those stuff, you tend to learn them, in the My School of Finance, because they're basically for anyone who want to enter as an analyst, or as senior analyst, or mid executive. So apart from the fact that you will learn very well. So one advantage you have again is that anything you learn, is for you, because in fact you might even decide that, okay, so I might not work again. Let me just continue my own, just to be making money from my own self. So that's one thing about it. So the training fee for the School of Finance is 150K. However, the training is slashed. Okay, so it is sponsored. So it's not 50K for anybody want to join, for early bird. So if you have an interest, yes, you can send me a DM, or you can ask question. Yeah, good. And if you have an interest in Emerging Analyst Academy, yeah, so that training fee is just 25K. You can let me know, my DM, or if you have anything to say here, so it's fine. So don't miss on that opportunity. So that's that for that. Yeah. So by next week, Saturday, by 5 p.m. So we are going to meet, yeah, again to look into the world of data. So by the time we get our hands dirty on Excel and everything, so assignment will choke you guys. Oh yeah, assignment will choke you guys. Yeah, will choke you. Yeah. So do you have anything to say before we call it a day? Do we have any, let me stop presenting. So do we have anything to say before we call it a day? Do we have anything to say before we call it a day? Anything? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay, so let's stop here. Thank you guys for coming up. Thank you again for showing up. Have a blessed, week ahead. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye bye.